Hello again. Welcome to my channel. My name is Caro, and today I'll be reading to you again from fairy tales and fantastic stories by Terry Jones. I wonder what story we have today. So, today's story is called The Fly-by-Night, and you can see a picture of a cat, and it's flying, and it's wearing goggles, and there's someone sitting on top. Okay. The Fly-by-Night. A little girl was laying in bed one night when she heard a tapping on her window. She was rather frightened, but she went to the window and opened it, telling herself that it was probably just the wind. But when she looked out, do you know what she saw? It was a little creature, as black as soot, with bright yellow eyes, and it was sitting on a cat that appeared to be flying. "Hello," said the creature. "Would you like to come flying?" "Yes, please," said the little girl, and she climbed out of the window onto the cat, and off they flew. "Hang on tight," said the creature. "Where are we going?" asked the little girl. "I don't know," called the creature. "Who are you?" asked the little girl. "I haven't got a name," said the creature. "I'm just a fly-by-night." And up they went into the air, over the hills and away. The little girl looked around her at the bright moon and the stars that seemed to wink at her and chuckle to themselves. And then she looked down at the black world below her, and she was suddenly frightened again, and she said, "How will we find our way back?" "Oh, don't worry about that," cried the fly-by-night. "What does it matter?" And he leant on the cat's whiskers, and down they swooped towards the dark earth. "But I must be able to get home," cried the little girl. "My mother and father will wonder where I am." "Oh, poop-de-doo," cried the fly-by-night, and he pulled back on the cat's whiskers, and up they soared, up and up into the stars again, and all the stars were humming and rhythm. "Boodle-dum-dee, boodle-dum-da, isn't it great being a star?" And all the stars had hands, and they started clapping together in unison. Then suddenly the moon opened its mouth and sang in a loud, booming voice, "I'm just the moon, and that's fine by me, as long as I hear that boodle-dum-dee." And the cat opened its mouth wide and sang, "Whee!" And they looped-a-looped and turned circles to the rhythm of the stars. But the little girl started to cry and said, "Oh, please, I want to go home." "Oh, no, you don't," cried the fly-by-night, and took the cat straight up as fast as they could go. And the stars seemed to flash past them like silver darts. "Please," cried the little girl, "take me back." spoil sport, yelled the fly-by-night, and he stopped the cat dead, then tipped it over, and down they swooped so fast that they left their stomachs behind them at the top and landed on a silent hill. "Here you are," said the fly-by-night. "But this isn't my home," said the little girl, looking around at the dark, lonely countryside. "Oh, it'll be around somewhere, I expect," said the fly-by-night. "But we've come miles and miles from my home," cried the little girl. But it was too late. The fly-by-night had pulled back on the cat's whiskers, and away he soared up into the night sky, and the last the little girl saw of him was a black shape silhouetted against the moon. The little girl shivered and looked around her, wondering if there were any wild animals about. Which way should I go, she wondered. Try the path through the wood, said the stone at her feet. So she set off along the path that led through the dark wood. As soon as she got amongst the trees, the leaves blotted out the light of the moon. Branches clutched at her hair, and roots tried to trip up her feet, and she thought she heard the trees snigger quietly, and they seemed to say to each other, "That'll teach her to go off with a fly-by-night." Suddenly she felt a cold hand gripping her neck, but it was just a cobweb strung with dew, and she heard the spider busy itself with repairs, muttering, "Tut, tut, tut." She went off with a fly-by-night. And as the little girl peered into the wood, she thought she could see eyes watching her and winking to each other, and little voices you couldn't really hear whispered under the broad leaves, "What a silly girl to go off with a fly-by-night. She should have known better." Eventually, she felt so miserable and so foolish that she just sat down and cried by a still pond. "Now then, what's the matter?" said a kindly voice. The little girl looked up and then all around her, but she couldn't see anyone. "Who's that?" she asked. "Look in the pond," said the voice. And she looked down and saw the reflection of the moon smiling up at her out of the pond. "Don't take on so," said the moon. "But I've been so silly," said the little girl, "and now I'm quite lost, and I don't know how I'll ever get home." "You'll get home all right," said the moon's reflection. "Hop on a lily pad and follow me." So the girl stepped cautiously onto a lily pad, and the moon's reflection started to move slowly across the pond and then down a stream, and the little girl paddled the lily pad after it. Slowly and silently they slipped through the night forest, and then out into the open fields. They followed the stream until they came to a hill she recognized, and suddenly there was her own house. She ran as fast as she could and climbed in through the window of her own room and snuggled into her own dear bed. And the moon smiled in at her through the window, and she fell asleep thinking how silly she'd been to go off with the fly-by-night. But, somewhere, deep down inside of her, she half hoped she'd hear another tap on her window one day and find another fly-by-night offering her a ride on its flying cat. But she never did. Here's a picture of the girl crying on the lily pad. Okay, that's enough for today. I hope you have a great day or a great night or whatever, and I'll see you next time.